And we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to Unlimited Freedom. This is Vaughn with Unlimited Freedom. We are live. All right, we are live, and we're going to be going into kind of a deep dive about what's going on with NOVATECH, as well as we're going to be doing some Q&A. So if you guys have questions, if you guys have any comments, if you guys want to, make whatever, just throw it in the chat. And I will get to your questions as soon as possible. We'll get to your comments as soon as possible as we go through the material here. But we do have one strand of comments, right? And I'm just going to read one of these, but it's been a strand of comments that has been happening lately, and it's basically in the vein of, NOVATECH's in court. How do you know? Right? How do you know NOVATECH's in court? What's the source? Right? Where's the cases? Right? And so these type of comments have been flooding my my YouTube channel. And here's the thing. Okay. Um, the of course the cases are there, right? You can look these things up, but what's happening is that apparently people just aren't looking it up, right? Or they're not Googling it, or they don't know how to use, I don't know. What is it? You don't know. You know how to use YouTube, right? So you can write a comment here on my channel, right? But you don't actually know how to use the internet to look something up. I don't know what it is. Or maybe it's just laziness, right? Or maybe it's like denial, right? Like, oh no, don't say anything bad about NOVATECH. Look, I mean, I think, at this point everybody knows that that there's some things going on. But what I do want to do is I want to take a deeper dive and attempt to address some of these questions, right? Here in this orange pill, titanium pill, stainless steel pill environment that we call the Unlimited Freedom Network, where you're getting the sauce, okay? Not just any sauce, right? You're getting the sauce that you're only getting here at the Unlimited Freedom Network. So hit the like button, because nobody else is bringing you the same kind of sauce that I'm bringing you here at the Unlimited Freedom Network. Okay, nobody, right? So do me a favor, hit the like button. We're going to be getting into that, right? We're going to be getting into that type of a deep dive because it does need to be addressed, right? And I'm also going to be making a couple of comparisons, and we're going to be talking about a company that actually went through this exact same thing that NOVATECH is going through. They came out on the other side and they are successful. All right. So let me actually, first, what I want to do is let me go ahead and actually pull up the comment. I'm enjoying my Live Good organic coffee. I love this stuff. And I'm also going to be doing some juicing, right? I'm doing some juicing, guys. I got my super greens, I got my super reds, I got my amino acids, and last but not least, I've got a glass of water, right? Because water is also important, right? If you work out, if you try to stay healthy, right? You want to, help your muscles, help your muscle regrowth, all that good stuff. So the water is here as well. So don't be a. Make sure that you hang out, because this is going to be a good one. We're going to be getting into some bonus action, right? So if you're thinking about leaving, hit the brakes. Okay, make sure that you stick around. All right, because the soundboard is back, baby. What was that? The soundboard is back. Some of you are going to hate it. Some of you are going to love it, but we're back, baby. We got the soundboard going on. See you later. You want to leave? Bye. All right. So anyway, let's pull up some of these comments. Actually, it's one comment that I want to get into that kind of says it all. And if this person would have actually done the research, like went on Google and did the research using the same amount of time that they took to make this comment, they would have gotten all their questions answered. Also, if this person would have bothered to go through my other videos, right, you would have been able to see that I have already answered all these questions. But apparently that's too much to ask, right? It's too much to ask that you actually go through the videos, that you actually look at the content that's already been made. No, you don't want to do that. Or that you actually do a simple Google search. Looks like you don't want to do that either. What you do want to do is you want to use your time to sit in front of your computer and write this book, right? Write a whole chapter here in my comment section. So, we're going to go over that. We're going to address it. And yeah, we're going to get into it. So this is going to be a good one, guys. Here's the comment about NOVATECH, right? And what this comment does is, in general, right, this comment embodies a lot of other comments that I've been having here at the Unlimited Freedom Network. So I decided to take this opportunity to address it, and let's get into the actual comment and what it says. So this is in response to my video, Novatech Update. Ex-convict explains Novatech's current situation. So the whole idea behind doing that video was to say that, hey, Novatech has obviously got some court cases going on. They've got civil litigation. They may have criminal litigation. And I have been through civil litigation. I've been through criminal litigation. I've had state cases. I've had federal cases. I've had a lot. I've got a past, right? I've had a lot of run-ins, right, with the law. I've been to prison, right? I've been to county jails. So I know how the legal system works from the perspective of somebody who's actually been on the other side of the legal system, right? You get a lot of breakdowns on YouTube from people who've been like lawyers, or they're cops, right? Or they're like detectives, right? Or retired detectives. Big market in true crime. But you don't have that many people who've actually been on the side of the system that I've been on. And, go figure, right? Nobody wants to hear from the bad guy, right? We all want to hear from the hero. But I'm a bad guy who has surrendered my life to Jesus Christ. I've changed my life. I'm now a productive member of society. I'm a productive member of my family. I'm a productive member of my community. And I can break down these cases from the perspective, right, of somebody who's actually been through that side of the law and that side of the system, which is what's going on with Novatech right now. So here's the question, right? Does anyone know which state this court case is in? Okay. What are the charges? As far as I know, Novatech is not registered in the US, meaning that whatever regulatory issues they are having in the US should not affect their operations outside of the US. There's an important word, should not, right? It doesn't matter what should be or shouldn't be, it matters what is. Dude, nobody ever thinks that they're going to end up in prison, right? Everybody in there. You can say, hey, when you were a little kid growing up, going to school, doing the Pledge of Allegiance, right? Did you ever think that you were going to end up in prison? I guarantee you they're all going to say no. So it's not about what should be. It's about what is. Anyway, back into the comment. This should not affect their operations outside of the US, right? And that's a big presumption. After all, it is an offshore company, or so they told us. The US can freeze Novatech's activities in the US, but they have no jurisdiction to do the same outside of the US. Is that right? Okay, so why are they not paying Novatech members who do not live in the US? They have our physical addresses, so they know who lives in the US and who doesn't. And why has an offshore company stopped communication with all investors? And I mean, at this point, I'm thinking you didn't even watch the original video where you posted this comment. But since you're not the only one who wrote a comment like this, I think it's important to address it for everybody who is interested. Okay. Why has an offshore company stopped communication with all investors and stopped payments to investors as if their operations are only based in the US and nowhere else? Are they not an offshore company as they claim? The US can't. Here's that word. The US can't stop them. Oh, really? Okay. The US can't stop them from going on with their business in other parts of the world. How? I can't help but wonder if this court case is just another cover up story. Anyone with information regarding this quote unquote court case, please share. All right, so I'm going to reply. I hope you watch my live. I'm giving you that attention that you wanted. You know what this person reminds me of? Years ago, I was doing a campaign in the state where I live, and what the campaign was about was we were campaigning to get Medicaid expansion, right? And Medicaid expansion is something that they passed during the passing of the Affordable Care Act back in 2010 under President Barack Obama. And as you guys know, I used to be an insurance broker, so I was very interested in affordable health care and the whole idea of Medicaid expansion. So I was actually campaigning for Medicaid expansion in this state. right? And so what we got was we got a lot of resistance from the police, right? And I'll never forget this girl that I was working with. Total liberal, total college, long haired, underarm hair, liberal, right? Probably doesn't shave her legs, right? That type of a person, and real hippie type. And she's saying, so we're getting this pushback from the cops, right? To the point where we're getting threatened to go to jail. I actually went to jail, right? While I was doing Medicaid expansion, they actually arrested me and put me in jail. Why? Because I was exercising my right to petition. Right. So in this country, we're supposed to have a right to petition. We can petition for grievances. We can petition to get things put on the ballot box. Ultimately, we got Medicaid expansion put on the ballot box and we got Medicaid expansion passed. However, I did incur a misdemeanor from that and I did go to jail. Right. And so did a lot of other people who were trying to get Medicaid expansion passed. So we're going to, let's see if I can figure out how to see. I want to turn down the people calling me, but I don't want to turn down something else. So let me see if that worked. Hey! All right. Anyway, so she would go, the cops, the police can't do this. They can't do this. Honey, they can do anything they want. They're the police. But that's against the law. They don't care. They're the cops. You're a civilian. They don't care what's against the law. They don't care about the law. And this is the naivety, right, that some people have. Oh, the US can't control what happens offshore. Oh, really? Is that right? Wait a minute. Aren't we the country that has the F-15 bombers? Don't we have stealth bombers that are undetectable by radar? Right? Aren't we the country that can virtually wipe anybody we want off the face of the earth? Oh, but we can't stop someone from doing business offshore. Oh, no. The United States doesn't have that power. Oh, no, of course not. Yeah. It's like, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. And I don't know whether to like feel sorry for you or to just want to smack you upside the head for being so naive. Right. And that's what would happen with this girl. I took her side and I said, listen, sweetheart. And I'm sure she hated me for that, right? Oh, how dare you call me a sweetheart, you misogynist. Look, whatever. Listen, sweetheart, they don't care about your laws, right? They don't care about, like, they're the cops. You're a person. They can do it. Trust me. And they can do a lot more than that, right? And so that's kind of what this comment reminds me of, because it's like, dude, you, you think that the strongest, most powerful, and one of the most oppressive governments in the world is going to have a problem stopping somebody from doing offshore activities? No. Here's the thing. Here's the best way to not have a problem with legal problems is don't get on their radar in the first place. Right? That's the best way to deal with it, guys. Because once you get on their radar, or once you get on the radar of a powerful judge or prosecutor, you may as well forget about it because they have powers that we don't. Right? And there's a great book. It's written back in, I think it's like the 40s or 50s. It's called Catch 22, and basically the whole theme of the book, and it's like a literary, it's literary. Guys, I did prison time. Okay, I've done a lot of reading. Right? But it's like a literary masterpiece. Okay. And basically, the theme and the premise, and I do believe this, is that regardless of what the laws say, it's come down to something very simple. The people in power decide the rules, and those who do not have the power are forced to go along with it. And you can read me all the laws that you want. You can read me all the regulations. You can read me the textbooks. You can talk about the bar exam. You can talk about your college education. At the end of the day, the people in power are going to exercise their power, right? And those of us who are not in power, hey, what are we going to do, right? We get to deal with it, or they're going to, they're either going to hurt us or imprison us or do the same thing to a loved one or a family member, which is even worse. Oh, but they wouldn't do that. Oh, really? Okay. So it's just the naivety of this comment. But I understand that not everybody has walked in my shoes. Not everybody has been through the same things that I've been through. Not everybody has seen the sides of life and reality, I guess, that I have. So, what I want to do here is I actually do want to answer your question. And in order to do that, we're going to have to get a little bit of, we're going to have to get a little bit deep. So, first, let me shout out to Darren. What's up, Darren? Wayne, good to have you. Shirley, welcome. Really appreciate you guys. You guys are you're here every week. You guys are awesome. So, but let's go ahead and get into a couple of things. Right. So bear with me for just a second while I pull up some materials here, and I am going to anything that I have, I'm going to be going ahead and posting them in the chat. Right. So if you're watching this, all of the all of the any type of filings or anything like that that you want to reference, I will post them in the chat. Also, if you're watching it on replay, you'll be able to watch the chat. So what you can do is if like you're watching this clipped on replay, go over to the live video. So go to my videos, go to the live section, go over to the video, and then you'll be able to see a live replay of the chat, and you'll also be able to see where I actually linked these sources. So that way you guys can like go there and look at it for yourself. So bear with me for one moment, guys. And we will see how far we can go back in history here, but I do think it goes back pretty far. So hmm. All right, so we want to. Geez, this goes back a long ways. All right. Well, do we want to go all the way back? I don't think we're going to do that. I'm questioning. Do we want to go all the way back to AMS mining? And I don't think that's really necessary. We all know that AMS mining was what Cynthia and Eddie Petty were involved in before they started Novatech. And that thing, it went belly up, right? Some say it was a Ponzi scheme. Other people say it's just a failed company. Listen. I don't like to be the guy that says that everything's a Ponzi scheme, right? Because it's way too easy, and it's just frankly, guys, it's just not true, right? A lot of these things are just failed companies, right? Like 90% of small businesses fail, guys, right? So that's what you got to understand. Like in a lot of these things, we like to, people who are early adapters, like yourself, like me, God, trust me, we wouldn't be sitting here on a Friday talking about this stuff if we were not early adapters to the crypto space. So people who are early adapters, we like to join startups, right? But the thing about startups is that 90% of them do fail, right? So it's not AMS, it was AWS mining, but I don't think I'm going to go back that far, guys, because that really doesn't have to do anything with Novatech. All right. So the earliest attention, right? The earliest attention that Novatech ever got was in August of 2019. Okay, and that's when they had their original website. It was novatechfx.io. Okay, and that was registered on June 17th, 2019. Okay, and Novatech was listed as the owner, and it had address in Vatican City, right? Vatican City. That's if you don't know what Vatican City, the Vatican is like the Catholic capital of the world, right? It's like the Christian Mecca, right? Vatican City is the Catholic capital of the world. It's where the Pope addresses people, and it is its own country, right? The Vatican is its own country. In case you didn't know that, it's in Italy, but it's its own country, right? Because and they're completely sovereign. So I mean, the Catholic Church, the church, right? I mean, it started with Saint Peter, right? And the Catholic Church through history has been a for better or worse, it's the church, right? It's you can't say it's not, right? I mean, it is what it is, and it's been here throughout history, and it's been very, very powerful, right? There's a beautiful quote by the artist Michelangelo. He was painting this, painting this grand painting in a Catholic giant church Colosseum, and they said, and there was gold, silver, all the riches, right? The Catholics are very, very rich, right? And they become very, very rich having worldly things, silver and gold. So they said to Michelangelo. So this Catholic leader says to Michelangelo, so looks like the church can no longer say silver and gold have I not. And Michelangelo says that's right. She can also no longer say rise, take up your pallet and walk. Right? Which that's a biblical reference for you biblical scholars out there. If you got what I was talking about, want to leave because of that? Leave. Go find somebody. Go find something else to do. See you later. All right. Bye. Okay. Let's see. So they were originally registered in the Vatican City, and then they claimed to be registered in the USA, Virgin Islands, and Estonia. Okay. That was back in 2019. There was another incident that happened in July of 2021 where they abandoned their .io domain and redirected themselves over to novatechfx.com. Okay. And Cynthia Petty made an announcement at that time saying, when we developed Novatech Ltd, we decided on two things. First, we resolved our problem that it would be affordable to join, right, and available to anyone who wanted to participate. Second, we committed to providing people with the tools and skills training they need to be successful, and that's a reference to the little trading course that Novatech had. As a matter of fact, you can still access the trading course on the website. I mean, people might even still sign up for Novatech just to do that little course. I don't recommend that course, of course. I recommend my trading course because it's achievable, attainable, sustainable, and it's able how I was able to make more than I've ever made before. Right. And I know my strategy works because I use it. Okay. So it looks like ever since Novatech started, they were being compared to the AWS mining collapse, right? That did happen in 2019. So it looks like they pretty much started Novatech as soon as that collapse happened. So they had something going on there. Okay, and then we all know about Novatech's products, so I don't get to go. I don't need to go too much into that. And it looks like originally, when they started, they would talk about AI sophisticated robots, right? And then I know that they left that model and they went over to this idea and the claim that they had 5 in-house actual traders. Okay, see what else we got. Mhm. So that was the earliest. And then it looks like their first actual security fraud warning came August 10th, 2022. So now that's a little bit early in the game in terms of like when all this stuff started going down. They really had a situation in it was October, November 2022. That's when really the stuff hit the fan at that point. But August is a little bit early, and this is their securities fraud warning that they got in Russia. And what I'm going to do is I will start to link these and post them in the chat here. Okay, so here's the securities fraud warning from Russia. There it is. Now, if you do go to that, you're going to have to use a translator, right? Because it's written in Russian, right? Surprise, surprise. Oh, by the way, I'm now enjoying my amino acids, right? My daily amino acid intake, right? That I take from Live Good, right? So for all you guys who say, "Oh, Vaughn's on drugs. Look at the way he acts." I'm not on drugs. I'm very healthy. I'm on amino acids, right? From Live Good. Cheers. Novatech FX has received a security. This is August 10th, 2022. Novatech FX has received a securities fraud warning from the Central Bank of Russia. As per the CBR's August 9th warning, Novatech FX exhibits signs of an illegal professional participant in the securities market. This is the equivalent of a securities fraud warning in other jurisdictions. Okay, let's see what else we got. 63% of traffic to Novatech's website is in the US, 7% in Canada, 4% in South Africa. And that was August 10th, 2022. And there's the link to that article. Let's go to November 19th, 2022. So this is at the point where Novatech has now gotten a securities fraud cease and desist from California. There's the link. All right. Desist and refrain order. The Commissioner of Financial Protection and Innovation Commissioner finds that the Department of Financial and Protection and Innovation Department regulates the offer and sale of securities in California under the Corporate Securities Law of 1968. At all relevant times, Novatech Ltd. is and was a business registered in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, with a principal place of business in Griffith Corporate Center, Suite 305, Beachmont, Kingston, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. At all relevant times, Novatech Advisors LLC is and was a Florida limited liability company with a principal place of business at 1825 Northwest Corporate Boulevard, number 1110, Boca Raton, Florida, 33431. At all relevant times, Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty are and were managers of Novatech Advisors LLC. At all relevant times, NovaPay LLC is and was a Florida a limited liability company with a principal place of business at 1825 Northwest Corporate. Okay, so number 5, they're going over who Novatech is and where they are, where they're registered, right? And it's going over registrations in the Estonia, and then in California and in Florida. All right. At all relevant times, Cynthia Petty is and was Novatech's co-founder and chief executive officer. According to Novatech, Cynthia Petty is responsible for creating, planning, implementing, and integrating the strategic direction of the organization, managing and implementing the company's research and development of strategies, and overseeing the company's overall operations. So what they're doing here is they're setting up her lines of authority, and this is what they do in these types of things. They have these findings, right? A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, that the courts do, right? And so what they do is they establish this. They establish this. They establish this. They establish, and what they're doing is they're slowly leading you brick by brick by brick into prison or jail, or maybe they want to get some money out of you. I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to extort your money. And if that doesn't work, they're going to extort your blood and your soul by, putting you in prison, sucking the life out of you, destroying your soul, eating your soul, eating your blood. I mean, that's what they do, right? And it's like, hey, how else can you say it? Right? Am I being dramatic? Not really. You should have seen the human suffering that I've seen in my life. You wouldn't believe it. Okay, let me hit these real quick, guys. Darren Deek, extra sauce, please. You got it, brother. Shirley Vaughn with the spicy sauce. Michael, QP is king. Wayne, why are the people in Novatech still live in a state of denial? Probably, Wayne, because they've got like a lot of money sitting in Novatech, and they're hoping that at some point they're going to be able to get their money back. Which is why what I'm doing here is we're going to go through all of the actual case law. I'm going to be posting it here so that, because so many people have asked me, what are your sources, right? Where are the cases, right? Where are the court filings? So what I'm doing is I'm going through every single case and every single court filing, right? Yeah. I mean, it might take a minute, but it is what it is, right? We've got to do this. We've got to answer these questions, right? And nobody else is really reporting on it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then as far as the state of denial, they're hoping to eventually get their money, right? I mean, and what I want to do, and hopefully if we have enough time today, I want to get into what happened with iMarkets Live, how they got court cases, how they got cease and desist orders, how they turned it around, how they survived, right? And so what the hope is, and what my source tells me, right, is that Cynthia has not given up on Novatech. The Pettyons have not given up on Novatech. They do want to get into compliance, right? And they do want to turn it around. And that right now they're working with the courts saying, hey, okay, you're saying that we're not compliant. Okay, what do we have to do to get compliant? What do we have to do to turn this thing around? Right? And so if you've got a large sum of money in Novatech, that ought to make you feel a little bit better, because it's not like Novatech isn't disappearing off the face of the earth. They're trying to get compliant. They're trying to turn it around. Are they going to have to rebrand? Probably. Are they going to have to change the way they do things? Absolutely. But the question here is, are these people going to lose their money? And that question has yet to be answered, right? So imagine, I don't know how much you have in Novatech, but imagine you had like 300,000 or half a million, right? You would be probably your eyes would be glued to the news on Novatech, because you want to figure out, hey, what's going to happen with my money? Or if, God forbid, you put all your savings into Novatech. Like, I've seen some people have actually done that, right? It's like, dude, can you imagine? Right. And that's why I'm so hardcore about teaching risk management on my page here, because I don't want anybody to put all their savings into something. I want people to learn how to understand, to utilize these platforms, how to leverage these platforms, so that the platforms don't leverage them. Right. So Marcus, I've been in QP for a while now. So love that you have joined the train, man. Quick question for you. I know that we can't fall in love with platforms, but do you see this one as a longer term one? I see QP as the same way I see all of the other ones, Marcus, which is the first order of business is to get back my seed money. Right? Once I have my seed money back, then whatever I have left in QP after that is 100% profit. I can then reinvest those profits, right? I can then trade with those profits, and then I'm going to be taking out a percentage of those profits as well. So that if and when it does go away, right, which for the most part, it's do I want it to go away? Heck no. I hope it lasts 10 years. But we know that in this space, things happen, right? So I am going to hope for the best and prepare for the worst, right? So it's always my first priority to get my seed money out and then play with the profits, play with the quote unquote house money, and then compound. And then that's why, if you ever notice that 9 times out of 10, when these platforms do go away, I've always been in profit by the time they did, right? Now, has that always happened? No, I have lost money. I lost money in capital X. Um, and then there's also money, extra profit that I could have made that I didn't make when the platforms go away. But if you abide by the proper risk management strategies, if you abide by the tools, if you abide by what I'm giving you guys here, you're not going to have a problem because you're doing it the right way. So get your seed money back, right? Play with the profits. Never invest anything you cannot afford to lose. Withdraw early, withdraw often, right? Practice mental toughness, diversify, right? If you've got $10,000, don't throw it all into QP. Throw 1,000 into QP, 1,000 into this, 1,000 into that, 1,000 into Vortic, whatever, 1,000 into whatever. You see what I mean? Spread out your risk. Hit the like button, guys, because nobody else is giving you the same kind of sauce that I'm giving you here at the Unlimited Freedom Network, okay? There are those who replicate and there are those who demonstrate, right? And I'm going to demonstrate the way you know, to succeed here. Bruce, what's going on, Bruce? Bought your trading course. All right, man. Shout out to you. In for a week now. Tell me more about what the Patreon is. So the idea behind the Patreon was to okay. So the idea behind the Patreon was for me to share my live trading. Right. And while the course has been very, very popular, the Patreon has not. Right. So I have currently ceased operations on the Patreon. I cut it out of I no longer talk about it on my intro or on my outro of my channel. Right. And, unless I were to get I mean, guys, in life, you have to fan the flames of the things that work and you have to quickly walk away from the things that don't. Right now, I was spending a lot of time on that Patreon channel and nobody was joining the channel. So what do you think that I'm going to do as a business-minded person? I took the same time that I was spending on that Patreon channel and I started doing something else, right? Something else that's going to be worth it. Okay, so what it was, and I would still love to do this, but what the whole idea was I was actually going in the markets and trading. Like, hey, Bruce, let me ask you a question. Would you like to see me make, I don't know, $900 in one day? Would you like to see that? How about $900 in 30 seconds? Would you like to see that? I can show that to you. I've got the videos, right? But the thing is, nobody was paying attention to the Patreon. So it's like, dude, why keep doing it? I still do trade every day. Darren, I have not traded today yet. Okay, I woke up early. No, I'm sorry, woke up late. Right, so I woke up late. I did my workout, got my shower in. I've still got all my my Live Good supplements are sitting right here next to me. I haven't even taken all of them, and it was 12 o'clock, and I wanted to come on here and do do this breakdown of Novatech. I also try to be as punctual as I can. When I say to you guys, hey, I'm going to be on it Friday at 12. That's 12 Central Time. Right, whatever, 1 Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Right, and I say that I'm going to be here and do it. I want to try to live up to that as much as possible. Sometimes I can't. Right, if I'm out of town, if I'm out of the country, hey, it is what it is. But as long as I'm in town, as long as I'm near the studio, as long as I'm able to do all that stuff, then yeah, I want to be timely about that. Why did you remove the Novatech link? I thought you leave it up to anyone to decide whether they sign up or not. Yeah, but I mean, it was just time to do it, Baron. I mean, I removed the Novatech link. I removed the VidiLook link. There are probably another couple of links that I removed in there. I mean, right now it is like the whole thing that's going on. I don't know how long you've been tuned in here, but I've been getting kind of deep into what's going on with Novatech, and the whole thing is right now. They are, like I said, and like I've said before, they are in the court system. They're going through the court system. They really can't do anything right now. They're trying to play ball and they're trying to get compliant. Okay. Now, what's going to possibly happen in the future? Probably some sort of rebranding, right? And which at that point, then we'll get back in the game on that. But as of right now, Novatech FX is the only reason to join that would be to like access their trading course. But their trading course doesn't teach a profitable strategy. That's the problem. Their trading course just teaches you like super basic stuff, right? So you can learn just enough to go into the markets and lose your backside, right? You can learn just enough to go into the markets and lose your money. So why? I mean, that's why. Hopefully that answers your question. But like the same with VidiLook. Like VidiLook's still around too, but You can, I mean, what are you making, 30 cents a day or something like that? I just don't have any interest in that, and I don't have any interest in keeping it up in the links. Uh, so hopefully that makes sense. Shirley, why would he leave the link up? Novatech has. Oh yeah, no. But I have said that, Shirley. In all honesty, I've said that. Hey, my links in there, kind of like, hey, if you want to join it, join it. If you don't. And it's kind of like one of those things where I just like, I'm not necessarily recommending something just because I have the link up. But like for a long time, Novatech wasn't paying, and I had the link in there still. Right? It's just like one of those things where, hey, it wasn't at the point. Well, now it's at the point where it's pretty much frozen. Right? So it wasn't at that point yet. Right? So because since it wasn't at that point yet, I wanted to keep the link up just in case they pulled through. Let's get back into this. Okay, now here is a big allegation, right? And this is the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, State of California. Beginning as early as 2022, Novatech offered and sold securities in the form of investment contracts in California through general solicitations on its website. That is a big accusation. Novatech referred to these investment contracts as packages. 11, Novatech held itself out as a crypto asset and Forex trading platform, and that's what got them in trouble, the whole Forex trading. The purported purpose of the securities offering was for Novatech to use investor funds to engage in crypto asset and Forex trading, right? Keep that in mind, which in turn would generate returns for investors who purchase packages. Novatech claimed to execute this trading activity using its percentage allocation management module. According to Novatech, investors could invest their funds in Novatech's master trading accounts, which Novatech would then pool with other investors' funds to be managed and traded by Novatech's experienced traders and bots. Number 12, Novatech specifically targeted investors with little to no experience in crypto trading, asset, and Forex. Really? I don't know. I mean, you can see that these are some pretty heavy-handed accusations. Telling investors and prospective investors that Novatech's fully automated investment products allow investors to earn without having to trade and that no experience is needed. The packages were publicly available to investors in California via Novatech's website, www.novatechfx.com. In addition to purported trading activities, Novatech claimed to generate additional revenue through the operation of Bitcoin ATMs by an affiliated entity, SmartBit. Novatech told investors that profits from its Bitcoin ATM business would be included in the distributions made to investors who would purchase packages. After investors created their accounts on the Novatech website, investors could log into their account using their username and password to monitor their purported balance and returns, deposit funds, and request withdrawals, right? Novatech facilitated deposits and withdrawals using crypto assets, including Tether, Bitcoin, Ether, and Litecoin. Novatech did not provide financial statements to investors or potential investors. Wrong. Yes, they did. Okay, Novatech has always provided statements. I just got a statement from this morning. As part of its solicitation efforts, Novatech used a multi-level marketing scheme that would reward investors for including others to send money to Novatech. According to this program, investors would be paid a referral bonus based on the amount of funds deposited by the investors that they recruited. Investors would also be paid additional referral bonuses when the investors that they recruited in turn recruited new investors. Novatech, according to the charts, Novatech averaged nearly 3% returns for investors per week and had never incurred a weekly loss. Now, keep in mind, what they're doing at this point is they are building up. Remember, I talked about those building blocks? So it doesn't mean that everything that they're saying here is illegal. They're building. It'd be like if I have a court case against me, right? They would say, okay, Vaughn is a white male in his, whatever age I am. He's a white male in his early 40s. Okay, and is it that illegal? No, but they're building up to something, right? Now, let's say they're building up to a claim that I assaulted somebody based on, I don't know, bigotry or hate because I'm a white man, right? And they would build up to that, boom, 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 boom. And then at the end, here's what he did. Boom, 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 boom. And they hit it. It's like, click, click, wow. You know what I mean? And you're just like, oh my God, what do I do? You know what I mean? And that's why at this point, of course, Novatech has retained attorneys, right? Because the fight is on, right? Novatech in one corner, right? Novatech attorneys in one corner. You got the United States of America in the other. Who do you think's gonna win, right? Who do you think's going to win? I mean, the person who has the F-15s or the young couple living in the state of Florida, right? Who do you think's going to win? All right, let's continue this. In fact, NOVATECH was this is number 20, and these are the findings, right? These are the findings of facts. And here's another thing. And this, guys, I'm giving you a lot of sauce here, right? So hit the like button because nobody else is giving you the same kind of sauce that I'm bringing you here at the Unlimited Freedom Network. When people talk about the facts of the case, did you know that the facts of the case don't have to be true? As long as there's documentation and it's signed by the judge and it's signed by the attorneys, those things become facts. So you could say that like somebody was like well, let's think of something ridiculous. Like somebody flew around the neighborhood like Superman, right? Just lifted up off the ground and flew around the neighborhood. If a judge signs it, if the lawyer and the attorney sign it, it becomes a fact. Did you know that? It's true. So facts don't actually have to be true in the sense that we understand it when it comes to law. I'll never forget my lawyer telling me that one. That he said, Vaughn. I said, yeah, dude, but that's not true. He said, Vaughn, these are the facts of the case. It doesn't matter if they're true. All right? And at the end of the day, he was right. You know why? Because he was on the free man side of the glass, and I was on the inmate side. So who was right? The people with the power, right? Doesn't matter if it's true or not. These are the facts. These are the facts of the case. Doesn't matter if it's real. It says right here, here's the documentation. Here's the signatures. I hope you like ramen noodles, Vaughn. Oh, God bless that guy. Okay, number 20. In fact, NOVATECH was luring investors into what is known as high-yield investment programs, HYIPs. They're unregistered investments typically run by unlicensed individuals and are often frauds. Okay, the hallmark of an HYIP scam is the promise of high returns on an annual or even monthly, weekly, or daily basis at little or no risk to the investor. Right? Another key element of most HYIPs is a referral program. A referral program. God, it's a referral program. It must be a scam. In which the HYIP offers referral commissions or bonuses to investors to recruit new investors. This usually leads to investors sharing information about the HYIP with their friends and family and promoting HYIPs on social media. Number 21. The packages offered by NOVATECH, Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty were securities that were neither qualified nor exempt from the qualification requirements under the CSL. The department has not issued a permit or any form of qualification authorizing NOVATECH, Cynthia Petty or Eddie Petty to sell these securities in California. In connection with the offer or sale of these securities, NOVATECH, Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty made or caused to be made untrue statements of material fact. Now here come the accusations. Untrue statements of material fact and material omissions to investors and potential investors, including but not limited to the following. And here come the charges. Number A, falsely representing that NOVATECH is a registered hedge fund in the United States. B, falsely representing that NOVATECH is a registered investment advisor. C, falsely representing that NOVATECH is a registered broker. D, failing to disclose that the offer or sale of NOVATECH securities was not qualified in California. E, failing to provide any qualifications substantiate the claims that investors' funds are managed and traded by experienced traders. Man, they're hitting them with the whole alphabet here, guys. F, failing to disclose that in March 2011, Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in the United States Bankruptcy Court for the Eastern District of New York. Yeah, you know who else has filed for bankruptcy about 1,000 times? Donald Trump, right? You know who that is? He was president, right? I mean, this guy's, it's like, I swear, you've got one law for certain people and another law for others. Although I will say things are not looking good for Donald Trump right now. And I'm not saying I agree with that, right? I think that what he did, a lot of other people have done, and they're coming after him, but they didn't come after the other people. Why? Once again, those in power exercise their power, and those who don't have the power, there's little or nothing that we can do about it, right? What's the secret? Well, My secret is my Christian faith. I believe that one day every mountain will be brought low, every valley will be lifted up, right? The rough ways will be made smooth, the crooked paths will be made straight, and every wrong will be set right by a higher authority, right? That's my hope. That's my living hope. If you don't have that hope, I don't know what you do, right? I don't know how you handle it. I'm just telling you how I handle it. All right, where were we here in our alphabet soup? Number G. Failing to disclose that in August 2019, a debt buyer sued Cynthia Petty in the Circuit Court of the 15th Judicial Circuit in and for Palm Beach County, Florida, Civil Division for breach of contract and unjust enrichment, alleging that Cynthia Petty had failed and or refused to repay a loan. Okay, so when a court filing, there's another court filing. Okay, that one happened in August 2019. Guys, all of these things that I'm going over with you are they're in the chat, right? So if you're watching this on the replay, right, they'll be in the chat on the replay because I leave my chats up in my replays, right? If you're watching this as a YouTube clip, right, then you actually have to go to my YouTube live. So go to my YouTube channel, click on live, go over to the live replay. You'll be able to see the chat there, and then you can get the links, right? And also another thing this is going to do is if you go back into my comment section and you say, well, where's the court cases? I am going to blow a gasket on you. After doing all that, I'm just going to send you this link and I'm going to say, dude, watch this or don't ever comment on my channel ever, ever, ever again. We're 51 minutes into it, guys. And we're not even, we're just at the beginning here. Right? So you asked for it, you're getting it here at the Unlimited Freedom Network. Why? Because I give you the sauce. I give you guys what you asked for. Right? If you want something, you're going to get it here at the Unlimited Freedom Network. All you got to do, hey, enough people put in the comments, guess what? You're going to see me on a Friday doing a live broadcast about it. There you go. Right? So, hey, want me to talk about something? Start hitting me up with comments. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. All right. Let me read my latest chat. This comes from Ahu Amon. What's going on, Ahu? Welcome. If you're not limitless, you can't invest into anything under 1,000. People control all the stocks in the USA. Oh, no, he's saying under 1,000 people control all the stocks in the USA. Oh, sure. I mean, that's always going to be that way. You ever play that game, King of the Hill, when you were a kid? Somebody runs up on top of the hill, and everybody else is running up the hill trying to take down the king, right? So they can be the new king. And if they do manage to take down the king, hey, they're king of the hill, but watch out. You got 20 people running up to take you down now. And it's just, guys, you know the scariest thing? When you're a kid, you look up to the adults, right? And you think, man, those adults really know something I don't know. You know what's scary? Us adults, we're still playing King of the Hill. We're basically still a bunch of kids on the playground. Instead of throwing snowballs at each other, we're using weapons, right? Instead of not playing war games, it's real wars, right? Instead of playing King of the Hill, we're playing corporate CEO and high-paid attorney, right? It's all the same. Isn't that nuts? It's the truth. Hit the like button. This kind of sauce, man, this kind of sauce, you're not getting anywhere else. I mean, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling the sauce today, guys. I'm feeling the sauce. H. Failing to disclose that in July 2018, a mortgage lender sued Eddie Petty and Cynthia Petty in the Circuit Court of the 15th Judicial Court, in and for Palm Beach County, Florida, Civil Division, in an action to foreclose a defaulted mortgage on residential real property held by Eddie Petty and Cynthia Petty. Failing to disclose that in April 2018, a credit card issuer sued Cynthia Petty in the Circuit Court of the 15th Judicial Circuit in and for Palm Beach County, Florida, Civil Division, for account stated an unjust enrichment. A judgment was entered against Cynthia Petty in the amount of $11,776.55. J. Failing to disclose that in October 2017, a credit card issuer sued Eddie Petty in a county court in and for Palm Beach County, Florida, for account stated. A judgment was entered against Eddie Petty in the amount of $4,740.56. Based on the foregoing findings, the commissioner is of the opinion that the securities offered or sold by NOVATECH Ltd., NOVATECH Advisors LLC, NovaPay LLC, Nova Trading OU, Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty were subject to qualification under the CSL and have been or are being offered or sold without first being qualified in violation of Corporations Code Section 25110. Pursuant to Corporations Code Section 25532, Novatech Ltd, aka Novatech Ltd, Novatech Advisors LLC, NovaPay LLC, Nova Trading OU, Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty are hereby ordered to desist and refrain from the further offer or sale of securities in California, including but not limited to investment contracts known as packages, unless and until the qualification requirements of the CSL have been met. Okay. Let me go ahead and put that here. Actually, let me see if it's even going to allow me to do that. Right, that's an important statement. I just posted it in the chat. So that's what they're trying to do right now, guys. So once you're involved in these types of situations, look, you can't keep on. I mean, it doesn't matter that they're registered offshore. If they live in the United States and they're in the court in the United States, they're not going to be able to do anything until they get right. And what does that mean? Unless and until the qualification or requirements of the CSL have been met. So what they're saying is it a permanent cease and desist order? No, it's we're doing this cease and desist order until such a time as you get compliant. So what is Novatech doing right now? They're saying, okay, how can we get compliant? And they're probably under a gag order from their attorneys, which is why they're not communicating. How do I know that? Because I am an ex-convict. I'm an ex-felon. I have been there. I have walked in the shoes of the defendant. That's how I know. You can't talk about anything to anyone, not even your family. Okay? And if you do that, your lawyer might quit on you. The lawyer cannot do the lawyer's job if you are running your mouth. You have the right to remain silent, remember? And the lawyer will say, hey, don't talk to anybody. If you ever get drug in front of a detective, anybody who watches this, I want my lawyer. And then they're going to violate the Constitution, because they always do. They're going to go, oh, but I just want to understand what happened. You know, guys, if you get read your rights, you are under arrest. They go, we have to read you your rights, okay? But you're not, you're not under arrest, which is a lie. Detectives are allowed to lie to you. You're not under. We just want to understand what happened. I want my lawyer. Am I under arrest? Well, yes, I want my lawyer. But we just want to understand what happened. I want my lawyer. And then you know what your lawyer's going to tell you? Don't say a word. Not even to your cellmate. Not even to other people on your tier, right? Not to anybody. Because there's people in jail who are not criminals. There's people in jail who are undercover cops. And they're getting information. They're going to become your friend, right? You're going to talk to them. And then next thing you know, that person who was in quote unquote jail with you is sitting on the stand testifying against you. That is why they're probably, right? And like I said, from my source, I cannot disclose my source, but that's what's happening. They're trying to get compliant. They're under a gag order from the attorneys. They can't say anything right now, guys. How long is it going to last? These things take some time. That's all I can say. It's like I told you on the other video. I was in the county jail with a guy fighting a murder charge. He was in there for 10 years. In county, not prison, county. That means he had not had a trial for 10 years. And he obviously couldn't post his bond, right? You're sitting in the county jail for 10 years. That means you're poor, right? You can't afford your bond. You know, that's another thing about this country. There's a double standard. If you're rich, you can bond out. You can walk around, live your life, start a family, do whatever you want for 10 years while you're waiting for your trial. Delay, 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 right? But if you don't have money, forget about it. You're going to be stuck in jail. Handcuffed. Get feet with the shackles. In addition, the commissioner is of the opinion that Novatech, aka Novatech Ltd, Novatech Advisors LLC, NovaPay LLC, Nova Trading OU, Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty Eddie Petty I always call him Eddie. It's like Cynthia and Eddie. I always make that mistake. offered or sold securities in California by means of oral or written communications, which included untrue statements of material facts or omitted to state material facts necessary in order to make the statements made in the light of the circumstances under which they were made, not misleading in violation of Corporations Code Section 25401. Okay. Pursuant to Corporations Code Section 25532, Novatech Ltd, aka Novatech Ltd, Novatech Advisors LLC, NovaPay LLC, Nova Trading OU, Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty are hereby ordered to desist and refrain from offering or selling or buying or offering to buy any security in California, including but not limited to investment contracts known as packages, by means of any written or oral communication, which includes an untrue statement of material fact or omits to state a material fact necessary in order to make the statements made in light of the circumstances under which they were made not misleading. Pursuant to Corporations Code Section 25403, any person who controls or induces another person to violate a provision of the Corporate Securities Law of 1968, or any person who provides substantial assistance to another person in violation of the Corporate Securities Law of 1968 shall be liable for the violations. This order is necessary in the public interest for the protection of investors and is consistent with the purposes, policies, and provisions of the Corporate Securities Law of 1968. There you go. Right? That is a court filing, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see that court filing, go over to the chat. I have linked it there. So now I have now linked the Russian filing. I have now linked the state of California filing, and we're just getting started here, guys. All right. Let's see what else we got. So I just read you that entire breakdown. I don't need to read that again. Now, here's what else happened around November 29th, 2022. Okay, after that complaint had come out. In an urgent request sent out to all of the Novatech FX investors, that's us, over the past 24 hours, Novatech said, go through your posts on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, etc., and ensure that any or all posts with an ROI or any advertisement solicitations that have Novatech's name or logo on it gets deleted immediately and without hesitation. So I mean, at this point, it's like after the fact. It's like Hillary Clinton going in and deleting the emails. Everybody already knew you had the emails. So deleting the emails is just going to make you look guilty. And so that's what Novatech's doing at this point. Right. And I don't know if you guys remember that. I definitely remember when that happened because I'm a social media personality. And because I'm a social media personality, I've got this love hate relationships with the companies that I work with. Right. Where they like, we love you because you're talking about our product, right? You're getting the word out, but we kind of hate you, right? Because you're putting us on blast. And I always say, listen, if you're doing something wrong, then you're going to hate me. But if you're not doing anything wrong, you really shouldn't have anything to worry about, right? And I only want to talk about companies on here that I can talk about publicly. I'm not really interested in doing these quote unquote private opportunities, right? Go to my Telegram group and find the private opportunity. Not really interested in that, guys. I want to be part of stuff that's above board. Sorry. Man, guys, if you do not get these I don't know, man. All I could say is if you don't have these live good products, you're missing out, right? I'm not telling you to do it, right? But I'm saying that I am so glad that I found this company because I'm saving a ton of money and these supplements that I take here are awesome. All right. Let's see what else we have here. This is more of an edutainment today, guys. So it's part education, part entertainment. A lot of times I like to do just like full-fledged entertainment broadcasts, right? I like to do a lot of like yelling and hollering and making jokes and cracking jokes and being funny, but this one today we're going to have more education. Okay? And it just is what it is because like I said, I've gotten so many comments that this is like the Q&A session. These have been your questions, right? So here comes your answers. All right. So let's see which one that one was. That was November 29th, 2022. Okay, so just backtracking here, we hit August 7th, 2019. This is the first time they got in the news. Then you had August 10th, 2022. Then you had November 29th, 2022. Okay, and let's see what else we have. Okay, this is going to be October. Okay, so we actually have to go back one. Sorry about that, guys. This is October 29th, 2022. And this is a securities fraud warning that Novatech got from Canada. Okay, now remember this warning from Canada. Okay, and I'm going to link this in. This is an enforcement announcement in the state of Canada, and this is from the BC Securities Commission in Canada. Here's the link. All right, so far we've linked up the first securities warning in Russia. Then we linked up the securities warning in California, which is actually a criminal court. It's a civil slash criminal action, because once you're accused of doing a crime in civil court, if that does not go well for you, next up you're going to get filed in criminal court. Um, and then I just added this is the fourth. This is actually the fourth one of these from Canada, Novatech Ltd. The enforcement date was 10/11/2022. Background: Novatech Ltd. claims to be located in Florida, and it also claims to offer trading securities by an experienced team of traders. We are aware that Novatech Ltd. has accepted funds from British Columbia residents, that's Canada. Novatech Ltd. is not registered to trade in or advise on securities or derivatives in BC. We urge BC residents to exercise caution when dealing with firms that are not registered to trade or advise in BC. For information on how to become better informed about investment products and services, please visit InvestRight, and then it gives you the link to InvestRight. So there they go. Let me see if I can pull up another from you. And that was the October 11th warning. Okay, another thing that happened around this time is apparently Cynthia Petty endorsed a claim that the FBI approved Novatech FX's business model. Okay, that claim was untrue. Novatech investors are claiming that the FBI audited and approved the suspected CEO, Cynthia Petty, has endorsed the claim, affirming she personally received a copy of the 700-page audit. Okay. Novatech FX's FBI audit claim was made on a September 22nd Compounding for Wealth webinar. And I will link that webinar in the description for you. Here's the webinar where it was stated that the FBI approved Novatech. It's now linked in the not the description, the whatchamacallit, the chat. For context on the Novatech FX FBI audit claim, we'll begin with Keith Walden. Okay, as the last Q&A speaker on the webinar, Walden claimed that he and others joined Novatech FX after another company collapsed. We're all relatively new to the Novatech family. We're very excited to be here. We came from a platform where a number of our members were doing well, but they went through some challenges. The platform Walden is referring to is the Hyperfund and Hyperverse platform. It was crypto winter, and we were like, what are we going to do? How are we going to help our teams? And when we started our due diligence with the Satoshi show several months ago, they came up and said, listen, guys, I think this is it. We just took it on faith. We jumped in and we didn't look back. Okay. And then here's another quote, and this is at 44:53 in the video. You know, Cynthia, that's the group that had an FBI investigator do a 700-page report. Remember, I sent that to you. At 46:02, Cynthia says, yeah, I wasn't going to read that. I thought the report when you sent it to me, hey, we're not a scam. And the bottom of the line, the whole story is after 700 pages, the FBI investigator said this is a good company to move forward with. Okay, so once again, guys, an FBI investigator is not going to say something like that. Then at 46:21, Cynthia says, we're going to have to stop saying that because now everybody's going to ask for that report. I don't have it. Don't come looking for the report. I burned it after I read the bottom line. I was like, well, thank you for telling me what I already know. So she burned the report. Okay, that is not going to, that's not going to bode well. But the fact is, guys, there never was a report, right? And there never was a report to burn. There was no 700-page report from the FBI. Okay. So at that point, Russia was the only country to have publicly taken action against Novatech. Okay, but as we know, of course, Russia was just the first. All right, one moment, guys. Let me ask you guys a question. How many of the people that have been making this comment on my YouTube channel, talking about where's the court case, where's the filings, where's the documentation? How many of those people you think are actually going to watch this and then actually go and look at the links that I linked in here? I don't know, but hey, you asked for it, so here it is. And I think that some of those people are trolls, but I think some of them are not, right? Some of them really want to know this stuff. Okay. All right. So that was from October 29th, 2022. So we now have the Canada situation, the California, and let's see. Then they did get another warning. They're continually getting warnings from Canada. So I'm not going to go over every single warning that they got. Now, this one I've already gone over on another video, but I'll go ahead and go over this as well. Let me see if I can find something here. Bear with me for 1 second, guys. Now, when you get these types of filings, you will receive them. There will be deliverable, right? And they usually get delivered by a person. You've been served, right? This means that you have a court case, right? These things are not written for people's health. Okay, this is the language of the courts. In prison we call it your paperwork. Let me see your paperwork. Oh no, let me see your paperwork. Why do we do that? Well, in prison, everybody has to show their paperwork to figure out who is a like a sex offender, right? Because sex offenders get greenlit to be killed in prison. If you do figure out somebody's a sex offender and they're celled up with you, you have to you have to you know, you're supposed to kill the person, right? That's what you're supposed to do. And if you don't, then your people are going to hurt you. So if you ever wonder how people get stuck in prison, that's how. Right? So if somebody's greenlit on the yard, they're going to be taken care of one way or the other. Right? And so everybody has to show their paperwork, right? And what this is, it's paperwork, guys. It's court statements, right? And so this is, you want the evidence? Here it is. Now, I also did a video, which I'm going to put a link in here. And let me find it. I know it was an emergency meeting. Here it is. So this is a live broadcast that I did on my channel where I got into the latest orders, and this happened back in April. So there's a link right there, and I also linked the summary order here. This is in the state of Wisconsin. This came out in April. Before State of Wisconsin Department of Financial Institution Division of Securities in the matter of Novatech FX, Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty respondents. Case number. Hey, case number. What does that mean? That means there's a case, guys. Okay, case number S-246552. Summary order to cease and desist, including restitution and civil penalties. Okay. The administrator of the state of Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions Division of Securities, quote unquote, the division, having legal authority and jurisdiction to administer and enforce the Wisconsin Uniform Securities Law, Wisconsin Stats, Chapter 551, quote unquote, Chapter 551, and rules and orders promulgated. Is that even a word? Thereunder, and having determined that this action is necessary and appropriate in the public interest and for the protection of investors, hereby enters this order as follows. Number 2, division staff have presented evidence sufficient for the administrator to make the following findings of fact and conclusions of law. Facts and conclusions of law. You know who else gets that? Everybody in prison. You got to show your facts and your conclusions of law, right? They're trying to figure out what you're in there for, right? There's good paperwork and bad paperwork. Most people in prison have drug charges, guys. They have a problem, right? They have a drug problem, right? And so you get first you get your warning, then you get your workout, then you get life without. Your warning is, hey, if you continue to do this, you're going to go to prison. Then they slap you with like a year of probation or 5 years of probation. If you screw up again, you get your workout, means you get a few years in the state penitentiary. What do? You work out. That's what you do. You don't have anything else to do. What did I do when I was in there? I read books, I worked out, and finally, I was one of the lucky ones. I finally got a job working in the kitchen. I was a culinary worker, so I was able to pass most of my time at work, right? And what did I do? I cooked food for 3,000 to 4,000 male inmates in the state penitentiary. That's what I did, right? But I could never have done any of that if I had bad paperwork, right? So what are they looking for? They're looking for something that says CI. If you have CI written on the paperwork, that means you're a confidential informant. That means you've talked to the police. That will get you killed. Or, if you're a sex offender, that will get you killed. If you're a woman beater, that will get you killed, right? To a certain extent. Now, with the woman beater thing, they're going to really so you got to go. It's like it's not racist, but it is racist, right? You got to stay with your race when you're in prison. So the whites stay with the whites and get patrolled by the whites. The blacks stay with the blacks and get patrolled by the blacks. The Mexicans stay with the Mexicans, and then you got the Uzas, which are other races like Hawaiian or Filipino or something like that. They're the Uzas, and they stick together as well. You have to do it. So once you end up in there, first thing is, if you're black, the black shot caller is going to come up to you and going to sit down with you and say, hey, here's the rules. We need your paperwork. Boom, 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 boom. What are you in for? What do you want to do in here? What kind of a person are you? And they feel you out. And then you get clicked up accordingly. Right. And that's It's just the way it is. I'm not saying that it's right. That's just the way it is. But this is paperwork, guys. This is paperwork. And right now it's on the civil side. But like I said, if these findings are being made on the civil side, these findings are criminal, they're criminal findings, right? And so that will initiate criminal procedures and processes if, like I said, Novatech doesn't get it together. Remember what I shared with you over in the chat. Unless and until the qualifications or requirements of the CSL have been met. So they're saying here, here's what we're going to do. We know what you're doing. We disapprove of what you're doing. You have to get compliant. And Novatech right now is saying, okay, we want to get compliant. What do we need to do? How can we play ball? How can we save our company? How can we rebrand our company and not have to go through this again? And we're going to be talking about that as well. So there's the court phase, the phase where you got to shut up or you can't do anything. You know, you can't be paying people out right now. You can't be doing anything. You can't be talking. You can't be making payments. You can't be doing anything except for what they're obviously doing, which is keeping the company alive. Everybody's like, oh, Novatech is going to close down its domain. You notice who never said anything about that? Your buddy Unlimited Freedom, because that was not a substantiated claim, right? And like I said, I have sources in the company, right? I have sources who are close to these things. I've got sources in a lot of places because your buddy Vaughn has been through a lot of things, right? I've got people everywhere, guys. So that's why I never said anything about this whole rumor, right? That they were going to take down the website. No, they're keeping everything going, but they can't do anything yet, right? They can't do anything until they get the pretty much they have to play ball right now. So they're on the defense. Okay, let's see. So I shared that. Let's get into this a little bit, okay? So here's the findings of fact. You've got the respondents. Cynthia Petty is an adult female resident of Florida. Remember how I told you they do this? They build it up brick by brick. Guys, while I'm doing this, I am enjoying my super greens, which is all the vegetables that you need daily and more. And it's clean energy, guys. You know, clean energy. It's like the electric car of caffeine, right? There's no caffeine here. It's clean energy, but this does way more for you than a cup of coffee. Love this stuff. Findings of fact. Respondent Cynthia Petty is an adult female resident of Florida with a last known address of blah blah blah. This is so stupid that they give people's addresses publicly. Cynthia Petty is a founder and the chief executive officer of Novatech. 2. Eddie Petty is an adult male resident of Florida with a last known address of blah blah blah. 3. Novatech Ltd, aka Novatech FX, quote unquote. Novatech is a limited liability company with a last known business address of Griffin Corporate Center, Suite 305, Beachmont, Kingston, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and has a website, www.novatechfx.com. Novatech has been controlled by Eddie and Cynthia Petty at all times material. The website asserts that Novatech Ltd is incorporated as a business company under 25614 BC 2019 under the Business Companies Amendment and Consolidation Act, Chapter 149 of the Revised Laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 2009. Conduct. Number 4, Paul J. D. Renzo. Okay, now for those of you, let me kind of go over this real quick before I start getting too far into the document. For those of you who don't know about this, this was an actual Novatech promoter, right? And this guy made a Craigslist ad soliciting people to get into he was using the terminology like hedge fund, which you're not supposed to say. He was using like guaranteed results, which you're never supposed to say, right? So he was doing things that really he should not have been doing. And he stepped in the mud, right? So he got so he's in trouble too. And this is just a promoter, right? He got himself in trouble too. He's going to get civil and probably criminal proceedings as well. And also, Novatech has been dragged into it because Novatech was the company. One main takeaway that I want to give you guys here, one main takeaway that I want you guys to understand is that Novatech is not the only company who has gone through exactly this. And guess what? Other companies have gone through this and survived and are now thriving. And that's what I want to drive home, right? You can't say one way or the other right now because they're in the middle of it, right? Okay, so that's who they're talking about now, guys. This guy, Paul DiRenzo, right? This is the promoter. He's an adult male resident of Pennsylvania with a last known address of blah, blah, blah. None of the above respondents have ever been registered to offer or sell securities with the Division Securities Exchange Commission, SEC, or the Financial Regulatory Authority, FINRA, FINRA. Now, guys, I've also been reported to FINRA, right? And I also am somebody who, FINRA has never taken any action against me because I don't do anything illegal. But once I got back out of prison and I built my insurance business back up, I got sued, right, in all the states where I had an insurance license and said, "Hey, we don't want you having an insurance license because you're a felon." Even though my crimes were never financial, my crimes were violent, right? I was in prison for violent crime. I am a violent criminal, right? But my crimes were never of the financial of the financial kind, right? But it didn't matter. But because I was a felon, because I was a convicted felon, they sued me to take away my licenses, which they did, and they reported me to FINRA, right? To say, "Hey, watch this guy. He's a criminal, and God forbid, right? He's out here trying to make money, right? So keep an eye on him. This guy's a criminal, right? Is that fair? Is that not fair? I'm not going to argue that with you. What I know is that I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't committing any criminal activities, and I do not commit criminal activities, right? Like I said before, I've surrendered my life to Jesus Christ. I am now a prominent member of society. I take care of my family. I take care of my community. I give back. I do a lot of stuff. As somebody who has reformed my life through the help of the Holy Spirit, right? Through the help of God, the grace of God, I've reformed my life. I've changed, right? So I'm no longer conducting any type of criminal activities, right? And like I said, the criminal activities that I have been in trouble for were for violence, eye for an eye type stuff that I shouldn't have been doing, right? It was completely wrong. I do not condone it, right? And I would not recommend anybody to live that type of a life, right? Because the cycle of violence never ends. If somebody punches you in the head, now you got to go get revenge and punch them in the head. If they stab you, now you got to stab them. If they shoot you, you got to shoot them, and on and on. So now you shot them. Now you got to get shot. Now your people got to get shot. Now their people got to get shot. On and on and on and on and on, and it never ends, right? Until you're either dead or in jail, right? It's so all I can say is it's not the way that God wanted it, right? And anyway, I don't want to get too far into that, but I do want to let you know that I've also been reported to this FINRA organization. What are they? They're a watchdog organization. So you don't want to ever get reported to FINRA, right? What's the best way to deal with these type of things? Never get flagged on their radar in the first place, right? You don't want that. You listen, trust me, you don't want ex felon following you around for the rest of your life, right? Every sentence is a life sentence in a way because the label follows you for the rest of your life in this country anyway. Number six, Cynthia and Eddie Pettion have a lengthy history of bankruptcy and civil judgments, including but not limited to. And guys, so what? So what? They've got a history of bankruptcy. See, that's what I really dislike about these. And this is what they did to me, right? When they took away my insurance business. He's got a history, right? He was a felon. He went to prison. What? So what? They have bankruptcies in their past. So what? Does that mean they can't run a business? I mean, all of our major business people in the United States, the old, and I hate to do this, but let's face it, all of the old white business people in the United States, so the old white males, all have a bunch of bankruptcies. Nobody's saying anything about them, right? Except now, they're definitely saying something about Trump. This guy, whew, man, the tables are turning. That's all I can say. Okay. In or about 2011, Cynthia and Eddie Pettion filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in the United States Bankruptcy Court for the Eastern District of New York. Okay, in or about August 2019, a debt buyer sued Cynthia Pettion in the Circuit Court of the 15th Judicial Circuit Court of Palm Beach County, Florida, Civil Division for breach of contract and unjust enrichment, alleging that Cynthia Pettion had failed and or refused to repay a loan. You see how these things follow you around, guys? It doesn't matter. If it happens and they've got it on record, it follows you. I mean, this is probably going to follow her for the rest of her life. right? Anytime she tries to do a business, she's going to have to, hear about this. Like, I still get stuff in the mail reminding me that I'm a criminal. I say, okay, thanks for the reminder. I don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the stretch of time I did in prison. Don't thanks for reminding me, but don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I know, I'm a felon, I'm a criminal, I'm a bad guy. I get it, but thank you for the reminder, right? And it's just, hey, what are you gonna do, right? Love it or leave it. What are you gonna do? I mean, you can't stop it, so you gotta just, I guess, come to terms with it. Okay, B. In or about August 2019, a debt buyer. Okay, I already read that one. C. In or about July 2018, a mortgage lender sued Eddie Pettion and Cynthia Pettion in the Circuit Court of the 15th Judicial Circuit in and for Palm Beach County, Florida, Civil Division, in an action to foreclose a defaulted mortgage on residential real property held by Eddie Pettion and Cynthia Pettion. In or about April 2018, a credit card issuer sued Cynthia Pettion in the Circuit Court of the 15th Judicial Circuit in and for Palm Beach County, Florida, Civil Division, for account stated and unjust enrichment. A judgment was entered against Cynthia Pettion in the amount of $11,776.55. And in or about October 2017, a credit card issuer sued Eddie Pettion in the county court in and for Palm Beach County, Florida, for account stated. A judgment was entered against Eddie Pettion in the amount of $4,740.56. Number 7. In 2022, Novatech started holding itself out as a cryptocurrency and foreign exchange currency, quote, Forex trading firm. And that's another thing that got them in trouble, guys. You're not supposed to be trading Forex without a license. Okay. And definitely not trading for other people without a license. Okay. You can do individual Forex trading without a license. But if you're starting a company like that, you're in some legal hot water at that point. If they had been just a crypto trading company, because of international law, they may have been able to avoid this, but probably not entirely, since they do live in the United States. Which is why I give a shout out to Jensen Robles and the people over at Vortic United, because they're only trading in crypto and they're not operating they don't live, they're not operating in the United States, guys. And that's going to keep them out of trouble with the United States. At least that's the hope. Vortic United has a team of lawyers right now that's working on being compliant with international law. Okay, so they're doing, basically, I use Vortic United when I talk about, now, as you guys know, Vortic United is my number one crypto trading passive income platform. And I use Vortic United when I talk about Novatech to compare the two, because in my opinion, Vortic United has done everything right that Novatech did wrong. So it's like they learned from every wrong thing Novatech did, and then they came in and did it right. Okay, shout out to Vortic United. Number 8. On or about August 9th, 2022, the Central Bank of Russia issued a securities fraud warning concerning Novatech, Cynthia Pettion, and Eddie Pettion. Number 9. On or about October 11th, 2022, the British Columbia Securities Commission issued a securities fraud warning concerning Novatech, Cynthia Pettion, and Eddie Pettion. Number 11. On or about November 11th, 2022, DiRenzo posted an advertisement on the Craigslist Wisconsin Services financial website targeting residents of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The headline stated, "We trade for you, get paid every week." The body of the posting stated, "Let the professionals trade for you. They have a remarkable track record. You make steady profits and you can withdraw or let them compound. You have access to your funds the entire time. Completely passive income. It's free to join and you can get started with very low amounts. Get paid each week. Returns have averaged over 3% per week." That's an income claim, guys. That's illegal. Completely passive income. Just takes a few minutes per week, and you don't need any special knowledge. It's a very simple program. Email for more information. Number 11, Wisconsin resident ME, okay, in quotes, ME. And this is funny, guys. They protect the victim, right? But the people who are like the quote unquote perpetrators here, oh no, they give the full name, they give the address. It's like they're saying, go burn the guy's house down, right? It's just so unfair. Guys, I'm sorry. but it really is. Our justice system here is so biased, guys. It just is, right? I'm not saying that every criminal is in the right? I'm not saying that, guys. But what I'm saying is being through the system, man, guys, I've seen some stuff. Your buddy Vaughn has seen some stuff. Okay, so Wisconsin resident ME, quote unquote ME, is an adult male resident of Wisconsin. Number 12. On or about November 16th, 2022, ME emailed in response to the posting. Number 13. On or about November 16th, 2022, ME received a telephone call from DiRenzo. DiRenzo told ME to log into a Zoom meeting that day to talk about the investment. Number 14. During the November 16th, 2022 telephone call and Zoom meeting, DiRenzo represented to ME that A. NOVATECH involved earning passive income in which NOVATECH would trade cryptocurrency for ME. B. NOVATECH's average weekly return for investors was almost 3% a week, and the chart displaying no losses whatsoever. DiRenzo told ME that even during the weeks when cryptocurrency lost value, NOVATECH investors still got paid because NOVATECH's traders make money when the market is going up, down, or sideways. Now, guys, that statement is not wrong. Okay. But at the same time, there's certain things that you cannot say publicly without without a license. Right. This is why I say I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. Right. I do not have a license. So I can't say that stuff without giving you a disclaimer. Right. This guy didn't give any disclaimers, right? And this happened to a lot of people with NOVATECH, as you had unlicensed people who did not give the disclaimers, so who did not say, "Hey guys, this is a risk, right? This is what it is. You're risking your capital here." They didn't say that. They said, "Oh no risk, guaranteed returns, blah blah blah, yada yada yada," and now they're in trouble. But that doesn't mean that the statement is wrong. Guys, I'm a Forex trader. I make money when the market is going up, when the market is going down, or when the market is going sideways. Hey, shout out to you, man. Bruce, who bought my course. I don't know if you're still on right now, but if you are, that trading course is for a sideways market. In other words, a stable market where the market is moving from side to side. So if you're moving downward on your broker, or if you're moving upward on your broker, stay away from that. Look for the side to side stable market action. That's where the strategy works best. Hit the like button, guys. Nobody else is bringing you the same kind of sauce that I'm bringing you. We've got 32 people on right now, and we've got 7 likes. Okay. So just do me a favor, smash the like button. Doesn't cost you anything to do that. Helps me out a great deal when you hit the like button because it helps with the YouTube algorithm, guys. So basically, have you ever tried to make a YouTube channel? If you have, you'll notice that at first nobody watches. That's because the YouTube algorithm does not promote people who make a channel, right? Just because you made a channel, just because, even if you're great, just because you made a channel, just because you made a video, the YouTube algorithm will not promote you. You have to be doing this for, yeah, Bruce, dude, email me, right? If you're interested in learning more, let's talk, right? Because I got a lot more sauce that I can give to people. Crypto X, can you share some of the other investments that you're in, like stocks, REITs? As a successful trader, any plan to have your own platform? I'll definitely put a large sum of money. Shout out to you, man. Not yet. I mean, guys, here's the thing. Like, I don't want to get into these problems. And as you know, I live in the United States, but I do have residences in other countries. So if I do start a platform, it would be from a residence in another company so that I can avoid these types of problems here in the United States. Stock market, I invest in ETFs. One ETF I'm invested in is called SPY. You can go to robinhood.com or wherever it is that you do your broker on the stock market and buy SPY. SPY gives about a 10% return per year, but it also gives you dividends, meaning a little bit of money every 3 months. Now, what is a dividend? A dividend, guys, is literally a company paying you to keep your money in their company rather than the bank. So every stock that I'm invested in has a dividend. So they literally pay me money for keeping my money there. SPY, the other one that I use is a REIT, and it's a dividend stock, and it's called O. And what that does is it allows you to invest in the real estate economy as a whole in the United States. and in the Western world. So in the most developed companies, if you invest in O, you're investing in a REIT, an ETF REIT, where you are part of the real estate economy, the larger real estate economy. So as goes the economy, so goes your REIT, which is O on the ticker. I'm invested in O, and also O pays a dividend. Right now, there's another dividend stock that I'm invested in called QYLD. QYLD pays a high monthly dividend, sometimes up to 7% a month, right? And QYLD is a dividend stock. You get into it for the purchase. It's an option stock, and you get into it for the purpose of making dividends. Uh, so there you go. Those are the now. If you're interested in REITs, I also have something in my links called Elevate Money. You can take a look at that. Right now, Elevate Money is invested in 2 properties so far. And so the rent money that they're getting is divvied up and it's paid out to the investors. So I really like Elevate Money. I'm making some good returns on that as well. So check that out. Link in the description. B. Novatech's average weekly return for investors was almost 3% a week, and a chart displaying no losses whatsoever. DiRenzo told ME that even during the weeks when cryptocurrency lost value, Novatech investors still got paid because Novatech's traders, quote unquote, make money when the market is going up, down, or sideways. C. That Novatech had purportedly managed funds for investors, which had purportedly earned 131% so far in 2022. DiRenzo said crypto went up in January, but is now down. But the Novatech traders always made money for investors, which that's a pretty much a true statement. But legally, certain things you can't say without the disclaimer. D. Regarding another chart displaying different levels of investment with Novatech and bonuses received by Novatech investors who brought other investors into Novatech in response to ME's inquiry as to what the bonus would be for the person who brought ME in as a Novatech investor, DiRenzo said that for a $5,000 investment, the bonus would be $250 to $500. DiRenzo represented that the bonus was not taken from the money invested by the new investor to pay for the referring investor. Also true. 15. On November 22nd, 2022, the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation issued a desist and refrain order against Novatech and several of its affiliates, right? Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty. The desist and refrain order included allegations of securities fraud, right? And this is called the snowball effect, when one court case leads into another and another and another, and you start becoming just guilty by association. Number 16, on or about December 1st, 2022, ME asked DiRenzo in an email about the California desist and refrain order. DiRenzo told ME he was aware of the order and the fraud allegations it contained, but did not elaborate further or provide any additional information. Number 17, upon information and belief, there are at least 270 Novatech accounts held by persons located in Wisconsin. Each Wisconsin investor invested at least $99 in an investment package offered by Novatech. Number 18, at no time did any respondent or any respondent's representative inform ME about A. And this is called falsehoods of omission, guys. So there's quote unquote lies of commission and lies of omission. This is when you just leave something out. Okay, which I think that in a way, lies of omission is kind of bogus, because like, do I have to disclose everything about my history? Like, what about stuff that I'm like, frankly, I don't want to talk about? Do I really have to talk about it? I mean, I kind of do, right? Because it's like you saw on here when I was, as I'm doing my channel here, I get haters who like make whole channels about me, right? And make whole big exposés about me, about my history and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, guess I got to talk about it, right? It's like, it's not going to go away. So, so I could get where they're coming from here in terms of lies of omission. The funny thing is, I'm doing better than ever now that those people have made those videos, right? Because it actually inadvertently it brought a lot more people to my channel, and people are just interested in my story, right? It's like, okay, how did I go from ex-felon to successful insurance broker to successful forex trader to now the person I am today, which is I do a lot of different things. I've got multiple successful online businesses that are worth millions of dollars. So how did I go from point A to where I'm at now? Right. And that caught a lot of people's interest. And, people generally are pretty forgiving, right? If you repent, if you turn away from the old way that you used to be and you really try to get better, you're kind of an underdog and people like to root for the underdog. Right. So it really hasn't negatively affected me. If anything, it's helped me. Right. Which probably ticks those people off. But hey, it is what it is. Like, it wasn't right for you to do what you did, and now you're kind of karma comes on you, right? You the guy you were trying to quote unquote take down, you actually helped him grow his channel. So, all right. So at no time did any respondent or any respondent's representative inform Emmy about Eddie and Cynthia Pettion's legal history, including civil lawsuits and bankruptcy. B, the securities fraud warnings issued by the Central Bank of Russia and the British Columbia Securities Division. C, the California desist and refrain order. And D, that none of the respondents were registered to offer or sell securities in Wisconsin. So yeah, that's an L. That's an L, dude. Because I'm telling you, man, once the season, you guys, a lot of you know this, but once the first cease orders came out from like Russia and California, I withdrew most of my money out of Novatech, right? And I was one of the last people to get paid before they froze the accounts, right? Because it's like I saw the writing on the wall. I saw what was happening, right? That we were about to go into like the dark night of the soul, right? We were about to go into some really tough times with Novatech. So I just took my money out of there for the most part. I still have some in, but I got back my seed money. I made a lot of profits. I took out my profits, right? Novatech overall has been a positive experience for me, but I saw that a lot of people did not do that. And that has inspired me to share a lot of my own personal risk management strategies with you guys so that if you did get burned, you don't get burned again, right? A lot of us, you were in Novatech for the right reason. You believe that you want more for yourself. You believe that more is out there for you. You believe that more is out there for your family. You believe that you can make money in crypto. You believe that we are in an open opportunity to make a lot of money in the world of crypto. And you are correct, right? So a lot of you guys just need to tweak it a little bit and you're going to be good to go, which is why I do this Unlimited Freedom Network channel. Number 19, Novatech posted numerous videos to YouTube featuring Cynthia and Eddie Pettyon, representing to viewers that Novatech was registered as a hedge fund, broker-dealer, and investment advisor between 2020 and 2022. There's a warning about YouTube, guys, and Facebook and everything else. Anything that you put on internet can be used against you if you end up going to court. I had somebody put something on my Facebook that got used against me in court. Number 20, Novatech published a post to its Telegram account representing that it was registered hedge fund on or about May 4th, 2022. Here come the conclusions of law. B. 21. Pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 551.102 28D1, comma, an investment contract security includes an investment in a common enterprise with the expectation of profits to be derived through the essential managerial efforts of someone other than the investor. Okay, the scary thing about that, guys, is that can be applied to anybody's business. So remember what I said about Catch 22? It's not everybody's doing something. It's just only certain people get targeted. Number 22, pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 551.501 2, comma, it is unlawful for a person in connection with the offer, sale, purchase of a security, directly or indirectly, to make an untrue statement of a material fact or to omit to state a material fact necessary in order to make the statements made in light of the circumstances under which they were made not misleading. 23. The investment packages offered by the respondents are investment contract securities pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 551.102 28D1, comma, because the Novatech investors' funds were to be managed by third-party traders to generate profits trading cryptocurrency and Forex for the investors without any involvement by the investors. Here come the violations, guys. Hey, you guys wanted the documents. Here they are. I've linked them all in the chat. Here they are. So for all you guys who've been asking me about this, here you go. Okay, let's get into the violations. This is a summary order, state of Wisconsin. Violations. Number 24, as described in 1 through 20, Novatech, Eddie Pettyon, and Cynthia Petty violated Wisconsin Statute 551.501 when they offered securities in Wisconsin and omitted to state material facts necessary to make the statements made in light of the circumstances under which they were made, not misleading, included but not limited to the Pettyon's bankruptcy and numerous civil suits, comma, the securities fraud notices issued concerning Novatech by the Central Bank of Russia and the British Columbia Securities Commission, the California desist and refrain order, and the fact that Novatech, Eddie Pettyon, and Cynthia Pettyon were not registered to offer or sell securities in Wisconsin. Number 25, as described above in 1 through 20, Novatech, Eddie Pettyon, and Cynthia Pettyon violated Wisconsin Statute 551.501 2 when they offered securities in Wisconsin and made misrepresentations of material fact. Now we're talking about criminal stuff here, guys, including but not limited to the representations that Novatech was registered as a hedge fund, broker dealer, and investment advisor when it never had been registered in any of those capacities. Which again is not true. It just wasn't registered in the jurisdiction of Wisconsin and in the United. Let me know if you guys are still with me. Are you guys still with me? Put a 1 in the chat if you can still see me and hear me. Okay, I just had like some sort of technical problem on my end. All right, cool. All right. Summary of orders. Let me read this. In view of the above findings of fact and conclusions of law, and pursuant to its legal authority and jurisdiction under Chapter 553, the administrator deems it necessary and appropriate in the public interest and for the protection of investors to issue the following orders and notices. And here is A, the summary orders issued pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 551.6042. A, it is ordered summarily that Novatech Ltd., Cynthia Pettyon, and Eddie Pettyon, their agents, servants, officers, employees, successors, affiliates, and every entity and person directly or indirectly controlled or organized by or on behalf of Novatech Ltd., Cynthia Pettyon, and Eddie Pettyon shall cease and desist from making or causing to be made any person or entity in Wisconsin any further offers or sales of securities unless and until such securities qualify as covered securities or are registered under Chapter 551 or successor statute pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 551, 6041A and 2. Okay? Here's the condition. Let me see. It's not going to let me highlight that one. But suffice it to say, guys, there's a condition here. So once they qualify, right? Once they become compliant, then they can play ball. Then they can operate. Okay. I don't know. Might be my microphone, guys, and I do yell a lot. So sometimes it's like, okay, it's not loud right now, but if I do start screaming, it'll be pretty loud, right? So, yeah, just you guys. Sometimes, guys, you just gotta turn me up when I'm talking and turn me down when I start hollering. All right. B, it is further ordered. Okay, no, I read that. D. Actually, hang on. No, let me read this one. It is further ordered summarily that all exemptions from registration set forth in Wisconsin State 551201, 551202 that may otherwise apply to a specific security, transaction, or offer of or by Novatech Ltd., Cynthia Pettyon, and Eddie Pettyon, their agents, servants, officers, employees, successors, affiliates, and every entity and person directly or indirectly controlled or organized by or on behalf of Novatech Ltd., Cynthia Pettyon, and Eddie Pettyon are hereby revoked pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 551.6041C and 2. So basically, they're no longer allowed to operate in good faith that they are doing the right thing. So those, the things that would otherwise protect them have now been revoked. D. It is further ordered summarily that NOVATECH Ltd., Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty, their successors, affiliates, controlling persons, officers, agents, servants, employees, and every entity and person directly or indirectly controlled or hereafter organized by or on behalf of NOVATECH Ltd., Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty or are prohibited from violating Wisconsin Statute 551, or a successor statute. E. It is further ordered summarily that NOVATECH Ltd., Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty, their successors, affiliates, controlling persons, officers, agents, servants, employees, and every entity and person directly or indirectly controlled or hereafter organized by or on behalf of NOVATECH Ltd., Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty are prohibited from violating Chapter 551 or successor statute that might otherwise apply to any offer or sale of a security of or by NOVATECH Ltd., Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty. F. Please take notice that the orders of the administrator are effective as the issuance of this order pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 551-6042. B. Proposed orders. It is proposed that an order be issued against NOVATECH Ltd., Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty to pay restitution to the Wisconsin investors with interest on such amount at the legal rate under Wisconsin Statute 138.04, starting from the effective date of this order through the date of satisfaction pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 551-604 4M. NOVATECH Ltd., Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty shall pay restitution within 30 calendar days of the issuance of this order and provide the division with proof of the restitution payment to the Wisconsin investors by no later than 30 days after restitution has been paid. Okay, now if they are in violation of this, it's going to bring more charges, criminal charges, so on and so forth. Okay, and here's the deal. Okay, they can stop this if they hire, if they hire attorneys, which they have done, and they go to the courts and they ask for continuances and things of that, which we are not necessarily privy to. Also, we're not going to be privy to any federal investigations, right? Because the federal courts do things differently than the state courts. Okay, guys, the federal courts will build a case against you and you won't even know it, right? They'll tap your phone, you won't know it. They'll be looking into your emails, you won't know it. And years will go by, they'll be looking at your taxes, years will go by while they're building a case against you and you will have no idea, right? Well, that's not right. Doesn't matter. Ever heard of the Patriot Act, right? Ever heard of the Snowden reports? If you're interested in what I'm talking about here, check out the Snowden reports. Darren, shout out to you, dude. That's because you've been paying attention. I haven't seen old Johnny for a while. But if he did, then that means they're in compliance. And if he didn't, that just means they've lawyered up, right? And they've asked for continuances. But real quick, on the federal side, you won't know that the feds are coming after you until you're already toast, right? Which, look what happened to Trump, right? He didn't know that he was being looked at for a long time until they finally kicked in his door. By that time, it was too late. Also, guys, the feds don't lose cases. I don't know if we do have any Trump supporters in here, but the only way for him, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not for him. I'm not against him. I'm not in politics in any way, shape, or form. Right? I don't get involved in politics because I think that politics, it messes with your head, right? And so you can't really see things for what they are if you're on the side of one political party or another, right? So I just like to be on the side of, what I believe in, which is my Christian faith. That's what I believe in. That's what I'm on the side of. I ain't a Republican. I ain't a Democrat, neither, right? I think that stuff just messes with people's heads. And but what I will say is that the feds do not take someone to court unless they're pretty sure they can win. And the only way for him to get out of trouble, if he is in trouble with the feds, which he is, he's going to have to get elected president and he's going to have to pardon himself. That's it. And, that might happen. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But he's not going to get out. He's in a lot of trouble, guys. A Fed case, you don't win Fed cases, guys. But the federal prisons are much nicer than the state prisons. In the federal prisons, a black and a white can share a cell together, right? There's not all this racial stuff, at least not as much. In the federal prison, you can go out and walk around, and it's like a country club compared to the state prisons. But there it is. I mean, you might say, well, we don't want to, nobody wants to go to prison at all. That's fine, but just keep in mind, United States per capita has the largest amount of people in prison than any other country in the world. So the statistics say that, more often than not, people are going to have a brush with the law at some point in their lives. It's just numbers, guys. All right. G. Oh no, I just read G. H. It is further proposed that an order to be issued imposing a civil penalty against NOVATECH Ltd, Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty in the form of an administrative assessment totaling $50,000 for the violations committed pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 551.6044 in the event that NOVATECH Ltd, Cynthia Petty and Eddie Petty do not pay restitution and interest in full to the Wisconsin investors within 30 days of the issuance of this order. Such payment shall be made payable to the Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions and shall be remitted to the division no later than 60 calendar days from the date of issuance to this order. That's an important thing for you guys to pay attention to, because it's like you have to pay back your investors, but make out the check to us. Right? It's the government for you, right? You got to pay back your investors, but make the check payable to the Department of Wisconsin. Okay, we'll take care of it for you. D. Notice of hearing rights. Number 1, please take notice that you have the right to request a hearing pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 551.604. Every request for a hearing shall be in the form of a written petition filed with the division pursuant to Wisconsin.admin code DFI section 801 and Wisconsin statute 227.42. A petition for a hearing to review the order shall, number 1, plainly admit or deny each specific allegation, finding, or conclusion in the order and incorporated papers. However, if the petitioner lacks sufficient knowledge or information to permit such an admission or denial, the petition shall so state, and that statement shall have the effect of a denial. And number 2, state all affirmative defenses. Affirmation defenses not raised in request for hearing will be deemed, or may be deemed waived. Okay, now what this is legalese. It's saying, here's the charges against you. Now you need to get your lawyer and come back. And now what does your lawyer say? Now what does our lawyer say? Now what does your lawyer say? And on it goes. And that can last years, sometimes decades. Please take further notice that you may file your written petition, 1, by mailing the written petition to the Division of Securities, Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions, P.O. Box 1768, Madison, Wisconsin, 53701-1768. 2, by delivering the written petition in person to Division of Securities, Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions, 4822 Madison Yards Way, North Tower, 4th floor, Madison, Wisconsin, 53705. 3, by faxing the written petition to 608-264-7979. N, please take further notice that the petition for hearing must be filed with the division pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 551-102. Filing means receipt. Therefore, a petition is not filed with the division until it's actually received by the division. If the division does not receive your written petition before midnight on the 30th day after the date of the service of this order, your right to a hearing will be waived and the summary order shall become final by operation of law. Oh, please take further notice that if you do not request a hearing and none is ordered by the administrator within 30 days after the date of service of this order, the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and summary orders and proposed financial orders, including the imposition of a civil penalty and requirement for payment of restitution and interest sought in a statement in the order, become final by operation of law pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 551.604. P, please take further notice that within 15 days after the division's receipt of a written request for a hearing from you, the matter will be scheduled for a hearing or other public administrative proceedings pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 551.604, 2, and 3. E, notifications. Q, please take further notice. Violations of this order, once final, may be enforced by any investor or by the division pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 551.604, whether acting in its own right or on behalf of the investor by petitioning any court of competent jurisdiction to enforce the terms of the order. R, Please take further notice. Failure to provide a copy of this order to prospective investors may be a material misrepresentation in violation, of Chapter 551 and this order. S. Please take further notice that this order is effective on the date that it is issued. Novatech Ltd., Cynthia Petty, and Eddie Petty are advised that any willful violation of an order issued by the division under Chapter 551 is a criminal offense punishable under the divisions of Wisconsin Statute 551.508, executed at Madison, Wisconsin, this 4th day of April, 2023. And there you go. There's the order. And then the rest is the signatures of the government people who issued the order and the affidavits. Okay, so there's the order. Also, what I have done here is I have attached the YouTube video that I previously made about this, and I attached the order. So let me check and let's see if we have to go over anything else regarding Novatech. So we talked about the state cases. I talked about Fed cases and how those work. Let's see what else we got. All right, I think we've gone through all the legal documentation. So that brings us to the second part of our live stream today, which is we're going to talk about a company called iMarkets Live. Okay, iMarkets Live. This is a company that got in trouble back in 2017. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Christopher Terry, iMarkets Live, iMarkets Live products, their compensation plan, what happened to them, and how they came back and rebooted and are now one of the most successful companies in network marketing around. Okay, IM Academy. What's up, Vet? Yeah, C12 is a rug pull, my friend. All right. This is from an article, September 7th, 2017. And what I will do is anything that is of the legal documentation stature, I will go ahead and post in the chat. Because, guys, the reason why I'm doing this, by the way, Crypto X, is because I've gotten so many comments saying, hey, you're saying that Novatech's in court. Where are the legal documents? So what I did is I'm part of the reason why I'm doing this. Part of the theme of today's live stream is to give you all of the legal documents, and put it all out there and say, hey, here's the proof that they're in court, right? And that is what's happening, guys. And Novatech, Cynthia, and Eddie have hired lawyers, right? This thing is in court, and and since I am a ex-felon, I've been through the system, and I can tell you that one thing that happens is that all communication stops, and all of the company's workings stop when there's legal proceedings like this. Everything has to stop until they can get things sorted out. My source tells me that no, Cynthia and Eddie have not fled the country, and that they are in the courts right now with their lawyers, and basically they're being told that they're not compliant, and they're saying, okay, what do we have to do to get compliant? Very similar to what happened with iMarkets Live, which is why I am now going to be talking about what happened to iMarkets Live, how they got through it, and to say, yes, iMarkets Live is still around. They've rebranded, they've renamed, and they're one of the top companies in the space. Okay? So just to show you that it is possible, right? Am I saying that that's exactly what's going to happen? No, I do not know the future. But this has happened before, and companies have gotten through this before. And in the meantime, I'm enjoying my super greens and my super reds from Live Good. Love this stuff. It's my secret, guys. It's how I do 4 and 5 hour long broadcasts. Crypto X, I'm surprised that you're talking about Novatech. Even some high level leaders are now promoting new platforms. It's a loss. One reason why I'm talking about it, man, is because I had so many people on my YouTube channel commenting, wanting me to talk about it. So here it is. You know, I try to give my people what they ask for. Darren. No, I don't know what happened to Johnny. Crypto X, if they come back, they will have to be outside of the US and they'll have a gazillion competitors. Yeah, or they could do what this iMarkets Live did, and which I'm going to get into in a second. Matthew Missy, what's up, Matthew? Does anyone have any idea where the Pettyons fled to? I have a friend that has a white page account that stated they are back in New York. They're in the United States. They're in the courts. Vet C12 has been completing my withdrawals, but I have not received the last 5 completed. BTC shows transactions not found. They are 100% select scamming. They're just a rug pull, bro. I mean, I hope that you made some money though with C12. I know that I did, and I know that a lot of people in C12 did make money and did come out in the positive. But we kind of knew from the start that it was not going to last forever, right? And that time has come. Okay, guys. International Markets Live, more commonly known as iMarkets Live, was first got on the radar of the news back in 2013. Okay, and what it was found to be was an MLM opportunity offering investment trading advice with zero retail. The company was also out of compliance, and per August 6th Facebook post in mid 2016, CEO Christopher Terry told Alex Morton that, quote, he has been through hell and back, and his company at the time was barely surviving. Having split with Vema just before the FTC shut it down, Morton had been promoting Junisess for about a year at the time. Morton claims Terry told him he knew it had the best products and services on the planet, and he had an unwavering belief that he would take his company to the top one day, no matter what. And that's what you got to have. And Christopher Terry has done that. Morton went on to sign as iMarket Live's vice president of sales. All things aside, there's one thing Alex Morton is good at, and it's generating affiliate recruitment for MLM companies. While he might not be the only factor, Morton has obviously contributed to iMarkets Live renewed growth over the past 10 months. That growth has corresponded with reader requests for an updated review. Today, we revisit the iMarkets Live MLM opportunity and suss out what's changed. Okay? iMarkets Live products. iMarkets Live Market Platinum Package membership, which provides access to FX signals, a live trading room, harmonic scanner, and training education. Okay? As per the iMarkets Live website, FX Signals provides access to automated Forex returns. So that was what they were doing on the passive income stream. They had something called FX Signals. And what FX Signals was a way you could buy into it and get passive returns on your crypto, right? Very similar to what Novatech was doing, very similar to what a lot of other companies do. Okay, but they called theirs FX Signals. So whether you're, and this is a quote from their company at the time, whether you're sleeping, partying, working, or all three, your trading account will automatically mirror the trades our experts make. So the live trading room provides webinar access to live tradings with CEO Christopher Terry. The harmonic scanner accurately identifies key harmonic patterns, which users then can act on through third-party MT4 trading software. The IML harmonic scanner automatically draws and labels different harmonic patterns in the Forex market right on your MT4 platform. Trading education is hands-on education every day from Christopher Terry. We also offer a full trading library stacked with videos, articles, and webinars for you to view anytime on various topics. iMarkets Live Platinum Package retails for $195 initially and then $145 a month. Okay? And then it goes into the compensation plan. I don't want to get too much into the compensation plan because it's not illegal to have an MLM compensation plan. But where they got them, guys, is on this automated trade mirroring, right? And let's see if I can find any links here. So what I want to do now is I want to go back and find any links to the actual court cases that became a problem for them. Here it is. Bear with me one moment, guys. Okay, so I'm just going to read from this. Um, and this was from Colombia. iMarkets Live is not supervised by the super financiera and is not authorized to offer products or services from the financial sector or from the foreign stock market in Colombia. Additionally, Mr. Alex Morton, Camille Fanesca, and Ivan Tapia, who promote iMarkets Live products in Colombia, do not have authorization from this to manage the business locally. Superintendencia Financiera de Colombia warns the public that the company domiciled abroad and which is identified as iMarkets Live is not subject to supervision by the superintendency and is not authorized to provide products or services in the financial sector or the foreign stock market in Colombia. Mr. Alex Morton, Camilo Fonseca, and Ivan Tapia do not have authorization from the superintendency to provide and or promote products or services of the financial sector or market of foreign entities in the country to residents, nor to utilize financial stock market or any other activities involving the management, use, and investment of public resources in Colombia. The company promotes products iMarket Live Forex Market, including through websites iMarketsLive.com and or iMarketsLiveColombia.com.co, which are not allowed to promote or advertise products and services of the financial sector or the stock market abroad in the country. All right, and then let me do one more thing, guys. Okay, just giving this website a second to load up here. The cases that I'm posting in here are iMarkets Live cases. I'm doing this because you guys need to know that the exact same thing happened to another, like exactly what's happening in Novatech right now has already happened to another company. Okay, here's one from the U.S. courts, and then we're going to do one from the SEC. All right, so here's just a few of the court cases that came up against iMarkets Live. Remember, they had to go to court. They had to settle all this stuff. They had to figure out, okay, how do we get compliant, right? How do we operate legally? Okay, and they did that, right? I mean, it took some time. Let me get another. Here we go. Now, let's fast forward 2 years later, right, to 2019. Okay, that's when iMarkets Live was launched back in 2013. It operated until 2017 when it started getting into all this trouble with the court. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 4 years, exactly the amount of time that NOVATECH has operated. Now NOVATECH is in its court season. iMarkets Live paid. iMarkets Live already went through its court season. Now NOVATECH is going through its court season. Yeah, I've already done that, CryptoX. Already done, my friend. Now, they started in 2013. They were going for 4 years. They got into all this trouble with the courts. And then it took 2 years. They were in court for 2 years before they relaunched in 2019. Now, NOVATECH is just going into its court problems. So am I saying it's going to be exactly 2 years? No, but I'm saying that generally the things that have happened in history are a good indicator of what's going to happen in the future, right? So since iMarkets Live has already been through this and it took them 2 years to get through the courts, I think it's reasonable to suggest that this court process might be at least 2 years, right? That NOVATECH is dealing with this stuff. So iMarkets Live, quote unquote, bundled a securities offering with pyramid recruitment. That's the exact same thing that they're saying about NOVATECH. Okay. Now, they had fraud regulatory warnings. They had, all the court cases that I just posted in there. And it looks like rather than defend the CFTC's claims, iMarkets Live settled. The settlement imposed a $150,000 fine and acknowledgement that the CFTC's findings were true and correct. Things were relatively quiet over at iMarkets Live for the rest of 2018 and for the most of 2019. Then, out of the blue, in September 2019, Terry, who is Christopher Terry, iMarkets Live was rebranding as IM Mastery Academy. Whereas iMarkets Live was very much a Christopher Terry affair, IM Mastery Academy sees Isis De La Torre credited as co-founder. Torre was also credited as a founder of iMarkets Live, in addition to being both company CFO. But like I said, iMarkets Live was very much the Christopher Terry show. In any event, today we revisit iMarkets Live for a third time as the newly relaunched IM Academy. Okay? Now, IM Academy, here's what they did. Okay, Forex and cryptocurrency themed products featured on IM Mastery Academy's website include Harmonics, DeLorean, Steady, Vibrata, Levels, Gold Cup, Bounce Back, Swipe Trades, Pivots, and Liberty. Right? If you scroll up, there's also several Academy variants that they offer. The FRX Academy, HFX Academy, DCX Academy, and IBO. Right? So what did they do? How did they become compliant? Right? First of all, what they did is they settled, right? They settled in the courts. They ended up paying a fine, saying that the court cases were true and correct, and settling. NOVATECH, in all likelihood, is going to have to do the same thing. Basically, they say, you're right, I'm wrong, here's the fine, I'm paying you a fine, and we're going to cease those operations. Then, in 2019, 2 years later, IM Academy was born. And instead of actually trading on people's behalf, which is what got them in trouble, they launched an educational platform that teaches digital currencies, crypto. It teaches forex trading. It teaches what else do they teach? They teach like the whole Amazon drop shipping thing. They do that, and they also have some travel that they're doing now. They're doing like travel discounts and things like that. They rebranded, they relaunched, and they came back. Okay, they came back. Now, as far as the people who were involved in iMarkets Live, they went on to become involved in IM Academy. They didn't lose their teams. They didn't lose their money. They didn't lose anything. They just pivoted and they went over to IM Academy. They pivoted over to IM Academy. They got compliant. They got legal. And now IM Academy is one of the #1 network marketing companies in the world. Right? They have people in Japan. They have people in South America. They have people in Africa. They have people in Europe. They have people all over the world. They're a huge network marketing company. So what did they do? They were doing something illegal. They got in trouble. They admitted they were wrong. They paid the fine. It took 2 years to get through all these court cases, at which time they rebranded, they came back, and now they're stronger than ever. I say that to say this. Novatech can come back. I'll bet you back then everybody was saying iMarkets Live was a rug pull because they couldn't do anything. While they were in court for 2 years, they couldn't do anything. Probably people said they're a rug pull, it's over, lost my money, it's all over. But ultimately, it was not a rug pull. iMarkets Live did what it had to do. They rebranded, they came back, and they're now IM Academy, and they are operating compliantly. And people are, they're still millionaire makers, right? There's a ton of millionaires who work for IM Academy. And we're an 8-figure people, too, who are making in the tens of millions, right? So they survived. They got through it, and now they're stronger than ever. Shout out to IM Mastery Academy. Shout out to Christopher Terry. Hey, they did it. Does that mean that Novatech's going to be able to do the same thing? I don't know. I hope so. Wouldn't that be great? What's going on, Eddie? Shout out to you. Matter of fact, here you go, Eddie.
Are you ready?
Okay, it's an old sound I haven't used in a while. All right. So that is the situation. Okay, as that's who's been through this before. That's what Novatech is going through now. iMarkets Live went through it. iMarkets Live survived it. They got through the court cases. They become IM Academy. They're bigger and stronger than ever. That means that Novatech can survive this. And this isn't the answer to all the people who have been sending me those comments, right? This is it. All right, there is your answer. Okay, we've got a lot of sauce here. There's a lot of, look in the chat. Let me see. I have linked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 legal documents. You guys were asking for the case numbers. You were asking for the documents. Here they are, right? They're linked in the chat. They're over here in the chat. I shared them all with you. So there you go. And once again, let's get back into this guy's comment and see if we answered all of his questions. Okay, does anyone know which state the court case is in? What are the charges? We answered that. We answered that. As far as I know, Novatech is not registered in the U.S., meaning that whatever regulatory issues they are having in the U.S. should not affect their operations outside of the U.S. We answered that. After all, it's an offshore company, or so they told us. We answered that. The U.S. can freeze Novatech's activities in the U.S., but they have no jurisdiction to do the same outside of the U.S. We answered why that happened. So why are they not paying Novatech members who do not live in the United States? We answered that. They have our physical addresses, so they know who lives in the U.S. and who doesn't. Why has an offshore company stopped communication with all investors and stopped payments to investors? We answered that. Are they not an offshore company as they claim? The U.S. can't stop them from going on with their business in other parts of the world. How? We answered that. I can't help but wonder if this court case is just another cover-up story. So I think we answered all your questions there. So there you go. And that was the first question for today. So let it be known that here at Unlimited Freedom, I have taken 2.5